This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Thursday, the new Friday, February 23rd, and today's pod is absolutely the best one yet.
Great seeing you in person again.
Great seeing you in person. Stock market, though?
Stocks have fallen for 4 days in a row because...
Why, Jack?
Inflation.
Classic. But you and we've walked 10,000 steps 2 days in a row.
Not too shabby.
I'm not even rounding up. Jack, what's our first story for today's pod?
There is one tech company that hasn't made a major layoff in decades.
What is it, Jack?
Nintendo.
Nintendo, because Nintendo is playing the infinite game.
For our second story, SHAK is the best performing fast food stock of 2023.
But Shake Shack has a problem, and we call that problem the honeymoon problem.
And our third and final story is Coinbase. They just told us about the state of the cryptocurrency industry.
All right, Jack, what's Coinbase's new favorite term?
Protect.
To serve and protect.
I have a particular set of skills.
And what are they, Jack?
Protecting. But Yetis, before we hit that fantastic mix.
Just a wonderful mix. And actually, we got 11,000 steps. I just checked.
The most important new real estate in New York City that Nick and I are stepping on.
Jack and I noticed yesterday that the most lucrative land in all of Manhattan.
It's not that penthouse by the park.
No, it's not that duplex with the river view.
The most valuable new real estate isn't even above ground.
Where is it, Jack?
It's underground.
And it's not even for people.
It's for cars.
Get this, Yetis.
There's a new garage right on Gramercy Park in New York.
You walked right by it.
It's charging $450,000 per parking space.
We repeat, $450,000 to house your Honda.
Or more likely, $450,000 to room your rolls.
That's a good clarification, Jack. Now, Yetis, you could spend that money on a home for your family.
Or you could spend it on a slab of concrete for your chest.
Now, Jack and I should point out, this ain't no average garage.
It's a cool garage.
Yeah, it is.
It's run by robots, apparently.
Yeah, apparently the demand and willingness to pay for parking in New York City is so high
that you'll pay a lift to store your Lexus.
You need a mortgage for your Mazda.
This isn't a parking spot, though, Yetis.
What would you
this
call
is
it?
part of your portfolio.
It is, because land is in demand.
Because like that one rapper once told us,
I love that takeaway, Jack.
the only truly scarce resource on the planet is land.
Now, people, they ultimately prioritize puppies.
But they'll prioritize their Porsches, too.
Jack, let's jump on that land wagon and hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, there is one tech company that's not only keeping employees, it's giving out raises.
That's Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Because unlike any American company, Nintendo is playing the infinite game.
The infinite game. Now, Jack, if you were to say that there was one overwhelming theme in tech over the last year, out of all the themes we've covered, what would you say it is?
Zuckings. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Layoffs.
If you said Zuckings, we're going to have to go in a totally different direction on this story.
Layoffs.
It is
because
layoffs.
There's been over 100,000 layoffs nationwide just in the tech industry, just in this young 2023.
Just in the last 2 months.
Zoom, Pinterest, and PayPal are the latest on the list.
Now, Jack and I have called this sad situation the hoodie recession.
Tech companies hired too many people during the pandemic, and now they're laying people off as the economy cools.
Now, besties, Jack and I did tell you last month that there was one exception to this hoodie recession.
Apple.
It was Apple.
Apple hasn't announced any layoffs like the other tech companies have.
But this is a story Jack and I have been excited to tell you for the last few
We
days.
have.
We've actually been excited to drop this on the
There's
Yetis.
one company that's outdoing even Apple when it comes to the job situation.
And that company is Nintendo.
Japan's Nintendo.
Nintendo.
The video game company behind Mario,
Yeah.
Mario Kart,
Classics.
Donkey Kong.
Toss that banana.
This is the true king of HR and talent retention.
Yoshi, you're getting a raise.
Dibs on Yoshi.
Yetis, here's what fascinated Jack and me about Nintendo. In the last 30 years, Nintendo has not done a single major round of layoffs.
We repeat, we found no examples
Zero.
of Nintendo mass laying people off in 30 years.
Now, Jack, can you talk about what's happened in the video game situation?
PlayStation 5, Xbox.
Video game competition has come for Nintendo.
Super Mario sales have fallen and waned.
Sales for Nintendo have fallen.
The Switch console had supply chain issues.
They suffered from supply chain problems at Nintendo.
And yet, in all those moments when the going got tough,
What happened?
Nintendo did not lay people off.
Including this year. What was the Nintendo situation this year?
Sales and profits were down last year for Nintendo. No layoffs, though.
In fact, just this month, Nintendo just announced the opposite of layoffs.
Nintendo is giving out 10% raises for all their Japanese staff.
Again, Nintendo suffered a sales and profit drop in the last year, and yet they're giving their employees fatter paychecks.
And it all comes down to one quote that we found from Nintendo's president, Satoru Iwata, 10 years ago.
Here's the quote. If we reduce the number of employees for short-term financial results, employee morale will decrease.
He continued, I doubt employees who fear layoffs will be able to develop software that could impress the world.
Jack, can you whip up a translation for us on that?
Nintendo could do layoffs like everyone else, but then we might not have Zelda in this world.
Exactly. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Nintendo?
Nintendo is playing the infinite game.
The infinite game. Yeah, these 134-year-old Nintendo, it plays what Simon Sinek calls the infinite game.
Nintendo doesn't think quarter to quarter. It thinks infinitely.
Because Nintendo believes layoffs aren't just a short-term hiccup, they're a long-term injury.
If workers are worried about getting let go, workers are going to be less creative and less innovative.
If you're concerned about getting fired, you're not focused on creating Bowser's Ultimate Castle Playland for the princess.
So while it's cost Nintendo short-term to keep the staff on the payroll, it would be more costly long-term to let people go.
Nintendo attributes its long-term creative success to providing short-term job security in any economy.
Even in this economy.
Exactly, because Nintendo isn't playing the same game as you and us.
It's playing the infinite game.
Woohoo! 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 For our second story, Shake Shack is the best performing burger stock in America right now.
The only problem with Shake Shack
Yeah, Jack?
is its honeymoon situation.
The honeymoon problem. Okay, actually, Yetis, Jack, we're recording literally a few blocks from the OG Shake Shack, the original.
Restaurant entrepreneur Danny Meyer
Yeah.
opened up the first Shake Shack in New York City in Madison Square Park.
It's a lovely location. It's like the Independence Hall of the Shroom Burger.
Are you going to confess what happened there?
Oh, yeah. Molly's my first date was there.
Their first date was
It's
there.
lovely.
They both bought stock. We're about to say Nick owned stock.
That's true.
It's because that's where they had their first
This
date.
is what we say. Long-term hold on my wife, Molly. Long-term hold on the Shake Shack stock.
Which one's longer? We won't ask. Yetis, McDonald's, Wendy's, and Kentucky Hut, their stocks have all barely budged so far this year.
But Shake Shack, we noticed, is the burger-beating behemoth right now.
Shares of Shake Shack are up nearly 40% in this young 2023.
I'm sorry, you want fries with those numbers?
Revenues last year for Shake Shack jumped 22% to nearly $1 billion.
Shake Shack is opening up new Shake Shacks like they're ketchup packets.
3 at a time.
Exactly. How
They
many?
opened 69 new restaurants last year.
Including 4 in China in the middle of a COVID lockdown.
Shake Shack is the only burger chain in growth mode.
Apparently, people want the elevated burger concept. Well, I hate to say it, in this economy.
But for all that caloric fun, we noticed a problem at Shake
Yetis,
Shack.
this is why we wanted to cover this story. We noticed a problem that we call the honeymoon problem.
On an earnings call last week, a Wall Street analyst asked management, when will there be less of a post-honeymoon drop?
Okay, Jack and I got curious, so we went back through some old Shake Shack earnings reports, and we noticed the same thing last year.
An analyst accused Shake Shack of suffering from a post-honeymoon drop.
Now, here's what that honeymoon problem is. When a new Shake Shack opens, people freak out and sales pop.
Like a newlywed kissing their lover on a honeymoon in Cancun.
But then here's where the problem happens. Sales settle down and there's a drop-off, a big drop-off.
The honeymoon's over,
Yeah.
you get home and start fighting about toilet paper.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, there's an example that just happened. Like a new Shake Shack just opened in Dublin, Ohio.
Yeah. According to news footage from the local NBC affiliate Channel 4 News, it was pandemonium.
It was like a holiday with this new Shake Shack. Shake Shack got a welcome that Arby's would be jealous of.
Shake Shack got a welcome Arby's would kill for.
It was huge. huge, but then sales started sliding.
They steadily declined after the honeymoon period.
Now, investors love that initial sales pop that comes with a new Shake Shack opening.
But they're frustrated that Shake Shack can't maintain the romance.
Is it me? Is it you? Should we read a book about this? So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Shake Shack?
Every relationship needs this reminder. Keep things spicy.
Look, Yetis, if you've been in a 2-year relationship, tonight, bring him some chocolate. Or tonight, bring her some flowers.
Do that one spontaneous thing that's a reminder of the intense initial spark.
Well, we've noticed the same thing. It goes for businesses, too.
To solve the honeymoon problem, Shake Shack is launching what no other fast food chain is doing.
Right.
Black truffle burgers.
Yeah, get this. No other chain out there has put rare foraged truffle oil on fried food. There's no precedent with this new Shake Shack truffle product.
Shake Shack knows it has to keep things spicy after the honeymoon phase is over.
With a spontaneous treat that only they can provide.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
You know, honestly, your salad, it says so much about you.
Nick, you like to blaze your own trail at the salad bar.
Yeah, I'm ordering a salad. I go off menu, man. Like a combo of kale and croutons that has never been made before.
Me? I'm not reinventing the wheel. I like to go classic.
Like if Sweet Green thinks it's a good combo, Jack's not going to change that.
Kind of like investing strategies. Some want to build a custom portfolio of stocks, crypto, and options.
Others don't want to reinvent. Just give me the most standard ETF.
Whether you're tweaking your one-of-a-kind portfolio every day or prefer a more hands-off approach, Robinhood has the tools.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy to choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Stocks offered by Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto.
All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.
For our third and final story, Coinbase just announced the results of a really, really bad 2022, but it survived.
It took an awful crypto crash to show Coinbase that crypto needs rules.
Now, Yetis, there is a simple way that crypto platforms can avoid oversight. And Jack, what is that way? It's a one-step process.
Put your headquarters in the Bahamas.
Stick the headquarters down in Nassau. It's going to be great. That's how you do it.
But Coinbase isn't doing that. In fact, Coinbase is by far the most transparent crypto exchange there is.
Which we appreciate.
Because Coinbase went public.
Coinbase chose to have oversight. It went public through a direct listing on the New York Stock Exchange.
So unlike cryptic crypto exchanges,
right?
Coinbase bears its soul to us
does.
each quarter with all its financials, all its updates, and it just did.
That's their earnings report. And so Jack and I jumped in T-Boy style like we typically do, and we noticed a theme when we Control F this thing.
Did you notice they kept using the word protect?
Protect.
As in, we are protecting your money?
Yeah.
They said that 8 times.
8 times. And why did they say the word protect in the Coinbase earnings 8 times, Jack?
They felt the need to reassure us about our money being protected because of all those crypto bankruptcies.
Seems like table stakes here to keep your money protected.
But it's not in crypto. A new value proposition is the simple assurance that they won't lose your money.
But Yetis, Jack and I dove in a little bit further, and we noticed that there was actually one thing that Coinbase bragged about in its 2022 report, too.
It's a survivor.
A survivor.
Here's what Coinbase said. We proved to be resilient in 2022 despite the shocks to the system.
Get this, Yetis. Coinbase's fourth quarter revenues plummeted 76% from the year before. 76%.
But it's still here.
And stock markets fell and crypto companies failed and crypto prices fell even more.
But unlike FTX, Coinbase is still here.
It's still here. Now, Yetis, Bitcoin, it wasn't going to the moon, so fewer people were trading cryptocurrencies.
And since Coinbase makes a majority of its money on trade commissions, revenues fell big time.
But Coinbase is still here.
So, CEO Brian Armstrong has gone from a swaggery crypto king to a humbled holder in the past year.
But Coinbase, it survived, and that's something.
It's still here. Some major crypto firms aren't.
True. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in crypto?
Rules slow us down, but they let us go further.
Now, Yetis, Jack and I noticed something we've just never seen before from a crypto executive in that Coinbase earnings.
Embrace of regulation.
An embrace of regulation, because that CEO, Brian Armstrong, said that regulation is coming and we believe we are positioned to benefit.
We think that's long overdue thinking.
We do.
Because it reminds us of cars and stop signs.
Cars and stop signs. Yet these roads, they have stop signs and red lights and speed limits, and all those things, they slow us down.
But with rules, we can safely drive from Savannah to San Francisco.
Well, 100 years ago, those new traffic regulations at the time are what let the car industry grow and thrive.
So, as Coinbase put it, rules could pave the way for crypto to realize its full innovative potential.
Because the way we see it, like stop signs, rules, they slow us down, but they let us go further.
They let us go further.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for the new Friday?
Nintendo just dished out 10% raises to their Japanese staff.
Yes, Nintendo, you are playing the infinite game.
For our second story, SHAK is off to a fast start in 2023, but it's got a honeymoon
For a
problem.
relationship, it needs this reminder time and time again. Keep things spicy.
What about this relationship?
It's always spicy.
For our third and final story, Coinbase suffered an awful 2022, but it survived.
And they rules, they slow us down, but they let us go further. I've got something spicy for
You do?
I'm going to be like, Jack, what's the takeaway? Ooh. I can whip up that takeaway any way I want. All right, here we go.
The T-Boy tickle? Is that what you're going to go?
T-Boy tickle. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by legendary Yeti Alec Ballesteros in lovely Flagstaff, Arizona.
Push and play.
Here we go.
Hey besties and Yetis, I hate to do this, but I have to correct Nick and Jack. Earlier when speaking about Tevas, they implied that they came from south of the border, which they did not. They were actually created in my hometown, Flagstaff, Arizona, by my fellow Northern Arizona University alumni, Mark Thatcher. He wanted to create the sturdy sandals for his time spent exploring the Grand Canyon. Furthermore, the name Teva comes from the Hebrew word for nature, which was inspired by his time in the 70s trekking through Israel.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so that's a correction from our Croc story where we mentioned Tevas, which are Tevas.
Or was it when we were talking about tough pronounce
True.
companies?
Sounds like we made 2 errors here. Bottom line, we need a Crocs, Birkenstock, Teva collaboration.
I was referring to the Vermont border, south of the Vermont border.
Croc sole, Birkenstock leather, Teva straps.
Alec, that was a fantastic best fact yet. I can't wait to get me some Tevas.
Some Croc and Stock and Tevas. Yetis, you look fantastic. Jack, you look fantastic too. Great pastas last night. What do you want to do tonight?
Tacos.
Tacos.
I'm looking for a
a
margarita.
little bit of Tacombe.
We're going to Tacombe.
Let's hit Tacombe. Yetis, Jack and I will see you mañana.
You spiced it up, didn't you?
I spiced it up on you. Extra guac for everyone. And before we go, congratulations to legendary mid-panther Mary and Drew Tunney, who just had a baby girl, Alexandra, in Stamford, Connecticut.
Mary, congratulations. We wrote that econ paper together, remember?
Oh, yeah, you did.
It was an incredible paper.
It's a great
Professor
paper.
Myers.
Great paper.
We got an A.
Great paper.
Dickey was the third author.
And Alex Hines is celebrating a birthday in Vegas by seeing Adele.
Not too shabby. And happy birthday to Rafael Fernandez Zubieta in Monterrey, Mexico.
And a happy birthday to Gerardo Gonzalez, turning 46 in Columbus, Ohio, near that new Shake Shack.
And a Felice Anniversary to Albert Alemane from Barcelona. And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-Boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. Nick owns stock of Shake Shack, and we both own stock of Apple and Robinhood. And we both own some Bitcoin.
A Bitcoin named Ben.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
Okay, so Jack and I both worked in finance for a while.
And we know the 6-monitor Bloomberg jockey with charts, numbers, balances, and more charts.
They got coffees in both hands while they're executing some complex trade on a soybean future.
Well, we're not trying to impress with our mission control trading center. Just give us an app, please.
Robinhood, with its mobile-first and intuitive design, it lets you trade with just a few quick taps on their app.
And even if things still don't seem easy, Robinhood has your back 24/7 with its live and robust customer support.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/Tboy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood. I'm gonna win.
Adam, barring any IP issues, can you toss in some kind of a Doolittle from Super Mario?
I'm Mario. I'm gonna win.
I got a takeaway.